A Day in the Life of a Nurse by Thomas Emmett. I start my day at about 5:30 p.m. when the alarm goes off and I wake up. After that, I get out of bed and prepare for the day, and of course I wake up Kitty and Bunny and feed them and clean them before I go. Then I prepare my food for the night because I will be gone at least 13 hours and I'll need enough food to get through. When I'm done with everything, I say goodbye to Kitty and Bunny and be on my way to work. And I have about a 10-minute drive to get there. I usually leave the house at about 6:15 and I get something to eat because I usually don't have time to eat again until at least 12 or 1 in the morning. Alright, when I arrive at work, I first figure out where I'm working for the night, and then once I'm there, I get my report and prepare for the day. On a normal night, I'll spend about 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock getting my report and going through my paperwork and the charts and organizing all my lab times and just looking at the med list for the night and kind of making a general plan of how I want to handle the night. After that, it's usually med time. I like to do my assessments and give meds to each person at a time. Depending on how many people I have, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 patients maybe. I tend to spend about 30 minutes per patient just doing everything that needs to be done so that they can get to sleep and I can move on to the next person. I try and group everything together. That's supposing everything is going well, but that's generally what I aim for. So if I start at about 8, then I'll usually be done maybe 10 to 11 area, and then I'll be able to sit down and start charting after that. I want to talk about some of my what I think are my better skills. I am also certified phlebotomist, and I'm good at taking blood. I used to take a lot of blood, but these days it's a little different. Now I'm more likely to give blood. For whatever reason, I've been giving a lot of blood this summer, but it's always nice to take blood when I have the chance. Along with that goes starting IVs. I'm actually really good at starting IVs too. I used to be bad at it, and I had no idea what I was doing because we didn't really learn it that well in nursing school. But once I took the phlebotomy class and I learned a lot, then I was able to, I've never had any problems with IVs ever since. Perhaps the best skill that I'm known for in the hospital would be putting on restraints. I haven't been doing it much lately because I haven't needed to, but if you ask any nighttime nurse, they will tell you that I'm very good at restraints, and if somebody needs them put on, they will come for me. I've had many patients that needed them in my time here. I get a lot of regulars from drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and they pretty much always need restraints. So I use the wrist ones a lot. That's our most common one, but sometimes we'll do mitts or 4-point restraints. And we also do a vest restraint if we need to. I'm also really good at those. There was that one time for training I had to tie the boss down to the bed with the vest restraint, and she was not able to get out, and I rather enjoyed that. But I try and do my restraints right and make sure nobody's going anywhere. And generally they don't. But there are those few times when restraints are not good enough. Alright, my last skill that I would consider to be one of my better ones is wound care and dressing changes. I had a teacher once that told me I would be good at wound care. I was never excited about it, but it's kind of like artwork really, and I enjoy being creative and making sure I do it right. So, I mean, I'm still not excited about it, but I'm pretty good at dressing changes. Now, talking about the skills that I don't feel I'm as good at would definitely be Foley's. The CNAs usually do Foley's where I work, so I don't get much practice with it, and patients tend to already have one from the ER or daytime, so it's very rare I actually have to put one in. But, I failed a few times, I've gotten a few in, that's kind of how it goes, but I just don't feel that I'm as good with Foley's as I am with like IVs or taking blood, that kind of thing. Yeah, this one's also rare for me, doing NG tubes. I might only need to do one maybe once every year or two. We don't use these that much, or at least I don't have to put one in that much. So, I mean, they're hard enough as it is, but I just don't like NG tubes. And lastly, I wouldn't really consider this a weak skill for me, but it's not really a strong one. I mean, we have the training for it to do codes, but I just don't. I'd rather avoid having to do a code. If I see a patient of mine that's working his way towards that, I try and deal with it pretty quickly and either get him to ICU or get him what he needs so that we don't get to that part. So, I know codes are pretty busy and intense around here, but I claim CPR every time if we need to. Alright, so moving on. Once I finish with my medicine assessments, I get to sit down and work on the charting and go through all the notes and make my report sheets and give whatever meds are needed for the rest of the night, usually like 11 to about 4 in the morning area. I'll try and eat a little bit during that time and just make sure everybody's sleeping and everything's going well. And after that, the lab comes in, takes blood, and then I just wait for the results and see if I need to talk to the doctor about any of them. So it gets kind of quiet towards the end, usually. And then once the morning hours hit, after that, it tends to get a little busier getting ready for the next day. I'll get into the morning meds and making sure everything's done and everybody's set, and I've got nothing left to do. So the morning hours, about 4 to 7 area, I'm doing my morning meds. I'm making sure everything's finished, my report sheets are done, lab results are in, notify the doctors, probably eat a little more if I can, and I'm just kind of waiting for the morning, waiting for the daytime group to come in so we can go ahead and do a report and I can finish up for the day and be ready to go. So daytimes come in, we do report probably like 7 to 7:30, supposing everything's gone well and nobody woke up and decided to pull out their IVs or their Foleys or anything like that. So on a normal smooth day, we'll report and then I'll get my stuff and clock out and go on downstairs. I usually have some breakfast most of the time. Sometimes I'll just go home and eat, but more likely I'll eat something there first. So again, I got about a 10-minute drive to get back home, and when I get there, I'll find my kitty waiting for me impatiently, and so I'll get in the house and do the usual. I'll clean and feed Kitty and Bunny, and then I'll clean and feed myself and take a shower, get changed, eat some food, maybe rest a little bit, and then I usually get to sleep about, 9 to 11 area. I'll finally get to sleep for the day. Got some housework to do first, and then we'll sleep until 5:30 and we'll do it again. I do 3 nights in a row, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. So that's basically my day. Basically.